The People's Temple started in 1955 in Indianapolis, Indiana. It was a time of great social change and upheaval in America. The civil rights movement was gaining momentum, and many people were searching for a place where they could feel safe and accepted. Jim Jones, a charismatic preacher, saw an opportunity to create such a place. He founded the People's Temple with the vision of building a community that transcended racial and social barriers. Jim Jones, the founder, preached a message of equality and social justice. He was deeply influenced by the teachings of Jesus Christ and the social gospel movement, which emphasized the importance of helping the poor and fighting for social justice. Jones believed that the church should be a force for good in the world, and he was determined to make a difference. He attracted people from all walks of life. The People's Temple was one of the few places in Indianapolis where people of different races and backgrounds could come together and worship as equals. This was a radical idea at the time, and it drew many people to the church. Jones's message of inclusivity and social justice resonated with those who felt marginalized by society. Jones was charismatic and passionate. His sermons were powerful and emotional, and he had a way of connecting with people on a deep level. He spoke about the struggles of the poor and the oppressed, and he called on his followers to take action to make the world a better place. His passion and conviction inspired many people to join the People's Temple. He spoke out against racism and poverty. Jones was a vocal advocate for civil rights, and he often participated in protests and demonstrations. He believed that the church should be at the forefront of the fight for social justice, and he encouraged his followers to get involved in the movement. His commitment to these causes earned him the respect and admiration of many people. He offered hope to the marginalized and the disenfranchised. Many of the people who joined the People's Temple were struggling with poverty, discrimination, and other forms of social injustice. Jones offered them a sense of hope and purpose, and he promised to fight for their rights. He provided food, shelter, and other forms of assistance to those in need, and he worked tirelessly to improve the lives of his followers. Jones's message resonated with many who felt excluded. His vision of a just and inclusive society appealed to those who had been marginalized by mainstream society. He created a sense of belonging and community within the People's Temple, and many people found solace and support within its walls. The church became a refuge for those who were seeking acceptance and understanding. He created a sense of community within the church. The People's Temple was more than just a place of worship. It was a community where people could come together and support one another. Jones organized social events, community service projects, and other activities that helped to build strong bonds among the members. The church became a second family for many of its members, and they found a sense of belonging that they had not experienced elsewhere. Members found solace and support within the temple walls. The People's Temple provided a safe haven for those who were struggling with life's challenges, whether they were dealing with financial difficulties, personal issues, or social injustices. Members knew that they could turn to the church for help and support. The sense of community and solidarity within the People's Temple was a source of strength for many people. The temple grew quickly, attracting a diverse following. As word spread about the People's Temple and its mission, more and more people were drawn to the church. The congregation grew rapidly, and the church became a vibrant and dynamic community. People from all walks of life came together to support one another and work towards a common goal of social justice and equality. It became a haven for those seeking acceptance and belonging. The People's Temple offered a sense of hope and purpose to those who had been marginalized by society. It provided a place where people could come together and work towards a better future. The church's message of inclusivity and social justice resonated with many, and it became a beacon of hope for those who were seeking a sense of belonging and community. Jim Jones was a captivating figure. He had an undeniable magnetism. People were drawn to his charisma and message of hope. Jones possessed a unique ability to connect with his followers. He presented himself as a savior, a protector. Jones preached a blend of Christianity and socialism. He called for racial unity and economic equality. His message resonated during a time of social upheaval. He promised his followers a better life. He offered them an escape from the injustices of the world. The People's Temple offered more than just religious sermons. It was a place where individuals from all walks of life could come together and find a sense of belonging. The temple was not just a religious institution, it was a vibrant community that provided emotional and practical support to its members. It provided a sense of community and purpose. Members participated in various group activities, from social gatherings to community service projects, which helped to foster a strong sense of unity and shared mission. These activities were designed to bring people closer together and to create a supportive environment where everyone felt valued and included. Members found solace in shared beliefs and values. The temple's teachings emphasized equality, social justice, and collective well-being, which resonated deeply with many of its members. This shared ideology helped to create a strong bond among the members, as they worked together towards common goals and supported each other in their personal and spiritual journeys. They formed strong bonds with each other. The sense of camaraderie and mutual support was palpable, as members often referred to each other as brothers and sisters. This familial atmosphere was a cornerstone of the temple's community, providing a sense of security and belonging that many members had not found elsewhere. The temple became a surrogate family for many. It welcomed people from diverse backgrounds, creating an inclusive environment where everyone could feel at home. This diversity was celebrated, and the temple's leadership made a concerted effort to ensure that all members felt respected and valued, regardless of their race, ethnicity, or socioeconomic status. The temple offered practical support to its members. Beyond the emotional and spiritual support, the temple also provided tangible assistance to those in need. This included food distribution programs, healthcare services, and educational opportunities, all aimed at improving the quality of life for its members. It provided food, housing, and employment assistance. These services were particularly crucial for members who were struggling financially or facing other hardships. The temple's commitment to social welfare was a key aspect of its appeal, as it offered a lifeline to those who were marginalized or disadvantaged. This made it particularly appealing to the poor and disadvantaged. The temple's outreach programs extended beyond its immediate membership, reaching out to impoverished communities and offering support to those who were most in need. This outreach was a testament to the temple's dedication to social justice and its mission to uplift the downtrodden. The temple created a safety net for those in need. It provided a range of services that addressed the basic needs of its members, ensuring that no one was left to fend for themselves. This safety net was a crucial aspect of the temple's community, as it provided a sense of security and stability for its members. It fostered a sense of interdependence and collective responsibility. Members were encouraged to look out for one another, and to contribute to the well-being of the community as a whole. This ethos of mutual support and collective responsibility was a defining feature of the People's Temple, creating a strong and resilient community that could weather any storm together. As the temple grew, so did scrutiny. The People's Temple, founded by Jim Jones, began as a progressive congregation advocating for civil rights and social justice. However, as its membership swelled, so did the public's curiosity and concern. The media started to take a closer look at the inner workings of the temple, and what they found was troubling to many. Jones faced criticism for his unorthodox practices. Reports emerged of financial mismanagement, abuse, and the manipulation of his followers. The press painted a picture of a man who was more interested in power and control than in the well-being of his congregation. This negative attention only fueled Jones's paranoia and desire to isolate his followers from the outside world. He began to exert more control over his followers. Jones's sermons became more intense, filled with apocalyptic warnings and demands for absolute loyalty. He convinced his followers that they were under constant threat from external enemies and that only he could protect them. This manipulation created a climate of fear and dependency within the temple. He demanded complete loyalty and obedience. Members were required to sign over their assets to the temple and were subjected to public humiliations and beatings if they disobeyed. Jones's grip on his followers tightened as he sought to eliminate any dissent or challenge to his authority. In 1974, Jones announced plans to move the temple to Guyana. He presented this move as a chance to escape the oppressive scrutiny of the American government and media. Guyana, with its remote jungles, seemed like the perfect place to build a new society based on the temple's ideals. Jones promised his followers a utopia in the jungles of Guyana. He described it as a paradise where they could live in peace and harmony, free from the racism, inequality, and corruption of the outside world. This vision was incredibly appealing to many of his followers who were disillusioned with the state of American society. He envisioned a self-sufficient community free from outside influence. The plan was to create an agricultural commune where members could grow their own food, build their own homes, and govern themselves according to the principles of the People's Temple. This ambitious project required a massive amount of work and resources, but Jones was determined to make it a reality. Hundreds of temple members followed him to Jonestown. They left behind their homes, jobs, and families, driven by the hope of creating a better world. The journey to Guyana was long and arduous, but their faith in Jones and his vision kept them going. They were eager to build a new life. Upon arrival, they immediately set to work clearing the land, constructing buildings, and planting crops. The initial excitement and sense of purpose were palpable as they worked together to bring Jones's vision to life. They believed they were escaping the evils of the world. For many, Jonestown represented a fresh start, a chance to live in a community that embodied their highest ideals. However, the reality of life in Jonestown would soon prove to be far more complex and challenging than they had ever imagined. Life in Jonestown was far from the utopia Jones promised. The settlement was isolated and remote, and living conditions were harsh. Jones maintained strict control over every aspect of life. He enforced his rules through intimidation and punishment. Dissent was not tolerated. Jones used public humiliation and physical abuse to maintain order. He demanded absolute loyalty and obedience. He instilled fear in his followers, convincing them the outside world was a threat. As time went on, Jones's behavior became increasingly erratic. He claimed to have supernatural powers. He conducted staged miracles to maintain his hold over his followers. He demanded to be called father or dad. Jones isolated his followers from the outside world. Communication with family and friends was restricted. He instilled a climate of fear and paranoia. He warned of conspiracies and enemies seeking to destroy them. This made it difficult for anyone to leave. In 1978, concerns about Jonestown reached a boiling point. Relatives of temple members contacted Congressman Leo Ryan. They pleaded with him to investigate the situation. Ryan agreed to travel to Jonestown. Ryan arrived in Jonestown with a delegation that included journalists and concerned family members. At first, Jones welcomed them. He presented a carefully constructed facade of normalcy. However, some residents saw this as an opportunity to escape. As Ryan and his delegation prepared to leave, chaos erupted. Several temple members expressed their desire to leave with them. Jones, fearing the loss of control, ordered their assassination, and Congressman Ryan was assassinated. The situation spiraled rapidly. The fear of the United States retaliating and coming to arrest him and his supporters. On November 18, 1978, he gathered his followers, over 900 people of them, including over 300 children, and gave them Kool-Aid to drink. They were forced to drink cyanide-laced flavor Kool-Aid, a tragic event that became known as the Jonestown Massacre. They all died instantly, and Jones shot himself after the event had taken place. The Jonestown Massacre remains a chilling reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and cult mentality. It highlights the importance of critical thinking and the need for healthy skepticism. The tragedy serves as a stark warning. It reminds us that even in the search for belonging and utopia, we must never surrender our individual autonomy. We must remain vigilant against manipulation and abuse. The lessons of Jonestown are as relevant